We have object P of class person. What do we do now? What do we do now? We simply let's set the names. P dot set name. What is the name? Name is Rakesh. P dot set age. We have these methods. What is the age? 21. P dot set height. What is the height? 5. P dot set nationality. What is the nationality? Indian. Right? Now can we run this program now? Yes. We have a class. Inside a class we have a main method also. So we can run this program. Let's try running it. Says error. Cannot find symbol H. So for get height we have to return height. Right? Now let's run it. But wait, before we run it, are we displaying anything? No. Let's write another method which will display everything. Right? So public void display. What will display do? Display will just print the values. System.out.println name name age is nothing but age. Height is nothing but height. Nationality. Right? Now let's save it, recompile it. Okay, we still do not print it. So we simply say p dot display. P dot display. How do we run it? Java person. Method as public static void main. Public static void main. Okay. Has to be an array. Yes. Do you have any doubts? Do you have any doubts? Somebody just came on the mic. Okay, SVVST college, can you see the screen? Okay. Now, can you see the screen? Okay. Can you see all the screens, right? Can see the slides, the program, everything? Okay. Simply say display. What are we doing? We are running the program. Yeah. Main method not found in class program. Please define the main method as public static void main. So it's saying it cannot find the main method. Why can't it find the main method? The main method is, we did not save it. We did save it. We did everything. So let's recompile it. Java C person dot Java. Done. Now let's run the program. It says name is Rakesh. What did we do? We set the name to Rakesh. We set the age to 21. We set the height to 5. Now let's say after a year, Rakesh's age gets updated. Now the age becomes 22. We simply update the age and we say display. Simply say display. Now when we recompile it, run it, what happens? See, name is Rakesh, age is 21, height is 5, nationality Indian. Then what did we do? We only set p dot set age. Age became 22. Name is Rakesh. Height is 5. Nationality is Indian. So how did we declare an object? We declare an object like this. We declare an object like this. Now let's create another object of the same class. Person Q is equal to new person. So how do we declare the object? With the help of the new operator. With the help of the new operator. Now let's set the name. The name is Neha. What is the age? Age is 22. How tall is Sneha? Sneha is 5 feet. Which country does Sneha belong to? India. Right? After we have done this, we just say q dot display. Now let's see what is the output of this program. Don't forget to put your semicolons. What happens? Name Rakesh, whatever is happening. Then a new object came. Sneha, 22, 5, Indian. Right? Is this clear? Do you have any doubts about this program? What is happening? What are we doing? We have a class called person. We are creating an object. Class, right? Person. We are creating an variable p, which is nothing but object slash instance of that class. What does that mean? It says, wait, we'll do it. What does new do? New creates a new, allocates the memory of size person class for the new object, right? Person, we tell him what type of object should new create, right? Now what is happening? We are creating an instance or object of class person. Then we are modifying the different variables that are there in the class. Finally, we display all the variables of the class, right? Please look at the program, look at the problem what we did. If you have any questions, please ask. I'll pause for a couple of minutes. Please go through it, revise, and ask your doubts. All right, let's continue. Let's look at the next thing. So we just saw an example for the object. What do? We declare the variable that will variable or instance that will hold the circle. So whenever we declare it, so there are two ways of declaring a variable. Either I can directly do it like this, or I can break it down into this. Person P is equal to new person. What does this do? It creates an instance and assigns the value null. Assigns the value null. What does it do? It makes it null. Now, then we construct the instances via new operator. We construct the instances via new operator. What does it become? C1 is equal to new circle, C2 is equal to new circle. So, as we saw, we are using the dot operator. We are using the dot operator to access the methods. To access the methods. What are we using? Dot operator. Right? Similarly, we can access the variables also directly using the dot operator. Right? Now, let's look at the next topic. What is a constructor? Constructor is nothing but a special method that has the same method name as class name. What is the constructor? Constructor is a special method that has the same method name as the class name. And what does the constructor do? Constructor is responsible for creating the instance of that class. The constructor has no return type. It implicitly returns void. It has no return statement. The constructor can only be invoked via new operator. So every time we say new, it invokes the new constructor. So now what is happening? When we say person, right? So it is nothing but invoking the default constructor of the class person. Whenever we say new, right, we are calling the constructor. So once an instance is constructed, you cannot call the constructor anymore, right? Once you have allocated the memory and you have initialized it, you cannot call the constructor again. So let's look at another example. Let's say we have a property called class called shape that describes shape. So what is the property of shape? How many sides does it have, right? And let's say what is the color. Now what is the property? Let's define a constructor for this. So what is the property of the constructor? What did we read? Constructor is a special method that has the same method name. So we say shape, same method name, public shape. That's it. We simply say public shape. Simply say public shape. And we can say sides is equal to 4, color is equal to red, right? Sides is equal to 4, color is equal to red. Now let's have a method to display. Let's put a name for this also. So what is the shape with 4 sides called? Can be called anything. We'll call it square. A rhombus also has 4 sides, right? So we'll write a method to display. How do we display the shapes? System.out.ln. What do we say? Name is name. Sides is sides. Color, right? Right? Name, size, color. Name, size, color. Okay. So let's declare a how do we declare? Shape S. S is equal to new shape S dot display. Now what will this do? What will this do? When we run this, what will happen? What will happen? It comes here on the starting point of the program. It comes here. It will declare a instance variable of type shape. What will it do next? It will allocate memory and initialize the variables. Basically, it will simply go here and it will execute this method. What is this method? This is the called the constructor. Constructor of the class shape. It is called the constructor of the class shape. What will it do? It will go and it will execute this method, right? It will assign the value name as square, size as 4, color as red. Color as red. Got it? What will it do? It will call new shape. It will go and execute this constructor. What will happen? Square, 4 and red will be assigned to name, size and color. So when we run this program, what happens? Name square, size 4, red. What did we do earlier? We used the set and get method to assign the values. Now the values are assigned automatically. The values are assigned automatically. Okay? Any doubts? I'll pause for a couple of minutes. Please see if you have any doubts. Okay, let's continue. So now, what do? I have declared this variable. Okay. Now, what if I want to modify the value of name? I can do it like this also without the setter and getter method also. What do I say? I want to change to name to rhombus. Now what will happen? First, we'll start the program for here. It will execute this, declare a new shape, right? The name of the shape will be set to square. Size will be set to 4. Color will be red. Then what we'll do? We came and we updated the name to rhombus. When we display, what should be the output? Oh, can you guys try what will be the output of this program? So let's try and run it. Did we save it? Name is rhombus. Why? Because it was set to square. Then we came and we updated the name. We updated the name. So now what if I don't want to, set the default values of the object every time? I don't want its value to be square, 4 and red every time I create an object. I want to have custom values. What should I do then? Right? So I can have a custom constructor public shape. I can simply say I'll only set the name. I'll only set the name to n. Name is equal to n. So what will happen now? I can call a constructor shape s, shape t equal to new shape and name it triangle. Name it triangle, right? Now, what will be the values for the remaining two things? If I directly call t dot display, what will be the remaining values? Let's see. It's always good to try. So there was no error. Now see, for string it was null, but size was itself initialized to 0. Int was by default initialized to 0. Okay, and the name was triangle. Okay, spelling mistake. Name is triangle. Name is triangle. Is it clear? So I had a constructor of type this. I can also have a constructor of type this. I'll say I'll only set the name and the size. What do I say? Name is equal to n, s is equal to side. Name is equal to n, s is equal to side. Okay, sorry. Side is equal to s. S sides. What will happen? We'll say triangle. Oh, sorry, we did not use it. Oh. So let's have another shape as shape R S T U. New shape. Another shape circle. How many sides does circle have? 0. Right? S dot display. How will this program execute? And what will be the output of this program? Right? Now let's think about it. What did we do? What does the program start? It starts here. This will be my first statement executed. What will this statement do? It will go and it will declare an instance of variable type shape. Then when I say new shape, what will it do? It will allocate the memory and initialize the variables. When we say initialize, if you are calling default constructor, every class, if you even don't have, it will itself have a default constructor. It will itself have a default constructor, right? So what will happen? It will go, it will execute shape, it will pattern match shape, no argument. So that means I have to execute this constructor. I have to execute this constructor. What will be the name? Square. Sides will be 4 sides. Color will be red. Color will be red. Then we'll come and we'll say update the name to rhombus. Update the name to rhombus. It comes here and it updates the name to rhombus. And then we say s dot display. It will go and display. We'll come and execute this method. We'll come and execute this method. What will this method do? It will display the name, it will display the sides and the color of the shape. Name, sides and colors. Is it okay? Then what will happen? We'll say shape T. We'll create a variable, we initialize it, and it will come and pattern match new shape which matches with this constructor. Only one argument, right? It will come and it will execute this constructor. What will happen? We assign the value of name as n, whatever we have passed. The remaining ones will be initialized to default values. What are default values for integer is 0. For string is null. For integer it is 0. For string it is null. Alright. So what if we also had a boolean? Boolean is closed. Is the shape closed? Now let's run and see what happens. So before we run, will it be false or true? Any guesses? Okay. We are not displaying it. So it should be false. It should be false. So by default, the value is false. We are not setting the value anywhere. We are not setting the value anywhere. So by default, the value is false. For integer, it is 0. For string, it is null. For string, it is null. For boolean, it is false. So what happens now? When we execute this method, it gets called and we displays the name as triangle, sides, color and slows have default values. Whatever default value for int is of default value is 0. Default value is null. They can ask you this in interviews. Please remember, this can be asked in the interviews. Okay. And finally, when I execute this line, this statement, what will happen? This constructor will be called, name will be sent to circle, sides will be sent to 0. Sides will be sent to 0. Is there any doubt? Please ask. I'll wait for a couple of minutes. Okay, let's continue. So a constructor with no parameter is called the default constructor. So what is the default constructor in our case? This constructor is called the default constructor. And the best part is, even if I don't have this, even if I don't write this, Java by default will create this for me. I don't have to worry about it. And what will be the values? Default values. Name will become null, size will be 0, color will be null, boolean is closed will be false, right? So if I remove this, and if I don't execute this, what will happen? Now if I try to display it, what will happen? String int, okay, because I've had these constructors, I need to have this constructor. So let's take a new example. Instead of deleting everything, let's take a new example. Public class shapes, right? What was the previous one? Shape, yeah, okay, perfect. So what do we have again? String name, int size, and what else? Boolean is closed, and anything else? Is there anything else that we want to put? Okay, let's let it be these three this time. So what is the so I don't want to put any default constructor this time. I simply want this method public void display, will display everything, system dot out println name is name, size is size, is closed is closed. Now I have the method public void static, public static void main string args. What do? I simply say shapes is equal to new shapes. What is this? This is the default constructor, automatically defined by Java, initializes the variables, class variables to the default value. So now what happens? If I call shapes dot display, what will it do? What will it do? It will simply run it and display the, okay, semicolon. Don't forget your semicolons like I do. See, name is null. Default value for string is null. Sides 0. Default value of int is 0. Boolean is closed. Is closed is false. Again the default value. Is it clear? Are there any doubts? Even though we did not define any constructor, the default constructor was invoked. The default constructor was invoked. Any doubts? Another point is, if I define a constructor, let's say public constructor has no types, int shapes, int side, okay, and I say sides is equal to side, okay. Now what will happen in this program? What do you think will happen in this program? What will be the output of this program? Can you guess? Can anybody turn the mic on and tell me the answer? What will happen when I run this program? Will it run? It will not run. It will give an error. Right? What did it say? That you have a constructor of this type, so I cannot do it. So when does Java automatically add a default constructor? Java only adds the default constructor if we do not define any constructor of our own. Right? If we define a constructor of our own, what will happen? It says I did not find. Now if I run the same program again, what will happen? It runs. But if we add a constructor, then after we add a constructor, what happens then? It says no, I cannot. Okay, default value. So this completes your basic class objects and constructors, right? This completes the basic part. Now that we have done this, right? Now let's look at another important concept, which is called this. What is this? What is this keyword and what does it do? So what is this keyword? You can use this keyword to refer the instance inside the class definition. You can use it to refer to the instance inside the class definition. What does this mean? What does this mean? So it simply means we can. So let's take a simple example. Let's take this constructor. If this constructor has an argument with the same name, now this variable name and this variable name is same. Now if I say sides is equal to sides, now Java compiler gets confused. What does it mean by, do you mean this sides or this sides? Which sides are we referring to? To refer to the, so I simply say this dot sides. So what happens? What does it do? It simply takes the, whenever I say this dot variable, it refers to the method or the class name of the same type. It refers to the variable or the class name of the same type, right? Whenever I say this, it refers to the class name or variables of the same type. Is it clear? Is it clear? What will happen whenever this dot size means we are referring to this variable. If I say this dot name, to set the value of the that variable. Is it okay? Now let's revisit our old example. What was that example? Okay, let's take a new example. Public class, let's say we have an employee class, right? We have an employee class. What do we have? Employees as, want his name, we want his salary, we want his position in the company, right? So now what do we had? We have the same setter and getter methods again. What do we have? We have the same setter and getter methods again. So what will be the setter and getter methods? Public void set name, string name. Now I can take the same variable name also. Set followed by name. This is called the setter and getter methods. We should all, it's a very good practice to use setter and getter methods for setting the variable names. Okay. So name is set name, string name. Now what do I want to do? I want to say this dot name, meaning this value is equal to the value that is being passed. This value is equal to the value that is being passed. Similarly, next thing will have is public getter method. The return type is same as the variable get name string, no arguments required. Simply say return this dot name, return this dot name. Then I have the setter and getter for salary, return this dot salary. So what does this do? This basically substitutes the class instance instead of itself. Basically substitutes the class instance. It removes ambiguity, confusion. Whenever we have two variables, if I say this dot this means it is referring to this one. It's referring to this one. So get function should have the same type. This dot position is equal to position. This dot position is equal to position. Public void get position. What will I do? Get means I have to have written the same type. So return this dot position, right? What will be the next thing now? I have to add a constructor. Public employee string name and salary string position. String position. Let's say this dot name is equal to name. So this is equal to this. This dot small s, never take. Salary is equal to salary. This dot position is equal to position. Right? Now let's add our main method. Public static void main string. Yes. What do we do? First thing we say employee E. E is equal to new employee. Right? What do we want? We want an employee named Albin. What is Albin's salary? It is 10,000. What is his position? Manager. Right? Let's say we have an other employee F. So we can declare all the employees that we want like this, and we can assign values like this. New employee. What is the name? Mayur. What is Mayur's salary? It is 1 lakh. Role director. Right? Did we add a function to display? No. Let's add a function to display also. Public void display. Thumbed out println name is name. Salary is salary. Salary is salary. Dot out dot println position is position. Position is position. Right? What is the name? What is the position? Now let's do display. E dot display and F dot display. Okay. Now let's run this. How do we compile it? Java. Okay, added a extra character by mistake. Now we say Java employee. See what happens? Now this comes, this assigns. Whenever we say new employee, what will happen? Name will have Albin, salary will have 10,000, position will have manager. When I say this dot name, it sets it equal to this name. This name is equal to this name. So I'm assigning the value of name to this name, assigning the value of salary to this salary. Got it? Is this concept clear? Are there any doubts? Please ask. I'll pause here for a couple of minutes. Please ask your doubts if you have any. Okay, let's continue. So, what is this keyword used for? It's referred to a variable that has been declared inside a class definition. So we use it to resolve naming conflicts. So there was a conflict here. If I don't write this here, what will happen? But we don't know. Name is null. Why is name null? Because the local scope starts here and we are assigning this to this. This variable is never assigned a value. That is why we say this dot name. Okay, right? If we have a same variable in the scope, what will happen? This variable will be assigned to itself. Okay, similarly we can invoke the methods also, right? We can invoke the methods also. So we can simply, instead of writing display separately, right, we can write this dot display. Now whenever I see e dot display, what does it do? It displays the value of variables with e. And when I say f dot display, what does it do? It displays the values to variable associated with this variable f. If I say this dot display, what will happen? See, Same thing. Does it do? It similarly executes this. Instead of this, it substitutes the instance that we have created, and the same values are printed. Same values are printed. So instead of doing e dot display, I can also do this dot display here inside the constructor. Inside the constructor. This can only be used inside the class methods, not in other methods. Got it? This is a static method. We cannot use this here. Okay? We'll see what are static methods a little later. For now, we cannot use this inside the main method. Got it? We cannot use this inside the main method. Alright. Are there any doubts? Otherwise, we'll stop here.